Glad you share my taste of pizza. Neil, you know the good stuff. We have lots to talk about today, boys. If you go to the lore channel, you see that I have already posted some stuff over there. Those things are for self-reference, so I don't forget to talk about them, about some stuff that I'm currently working on. It's going to be an exciting year. I can feel it in my penguin bones. Today we are also going to be answering some questions from you guys. So all the topics that you want to cover that are related to the lore, um, feel free to jump in and ask questions. We can tap a little bit on other topics like Sage as well, because Sage and Unreal 5, because those are intertwined with the lore as well. So yeah, it's going to be. I want to cover everything. Just giving the guys a couple minutes to join. Awesome. Everyone can hear me? If anyone can't hear me, let me know, please. Awesome. Awesome. Yeah, we have more people joining. Hello, Jimmy. Welcome, brother. Pleasure to have you here. Another important thing for those of you who have participated in Never Alone, we are finally closing the campaign. Hello, Tamar. Pleasure to have you here. I have sent today, not today, I have sent them already, say Sans description as a crew member. Yeah, that's a good one. Can you actually ping Santi VB so he can announce that we closed the last quest of Never Alone? Brujo, my friend, how are you guys doing? Uh, Also awesome. So, this is the first Lore Keepers meeting of 2025. It's a pleasure to be here with you guys as well. This is Tamar. This is super freestyle, you know. What we do here is we basically talk about Starata's lore. Feel free to ask questions. I'm not sure if you want to share with the guys what you are currently doing, Tamar. If not, that's okay. Feel free. But everyone here is passionate about Starata's lore. Most of them are OGs that have been with us for a long time now, and we are actually going to start this session by doing a little recap of the Staratas lore overall. I also posted for reference a few names and the file that I have for the overview of the Council of Peace in my lore books. I'll explain in a little bit why I posted that. This is an exercise that I'm doing this year. And one thing that I noticed, guys, is that I have many thousands of pages that I wrote, but now I'm doing something that's kind of hard for me, that is organizing everything. I'm that kind of guy that goes on a writing spree and start writing a lot of stuff, a myriad of notes everywhere. And now I'm taking this first part of the year, I'm taking some time to organize stuff. So the way that I'm doing this is that now I'm setting categories for everything that I have written. So for example, you see that this is the file on the faction side of the Council of Peace. And every one of those, every faction now, Igalia, every organization, they will have this overview, which are like the general uh, notes that I have on them. And also, I developed some things to help game design, economy, etc., to measure the power, the influence, and the wealth of every organization in Galia. You guys will see from those pictures that I have the Galactic Wealth Index, I have the Galactic Wealth Index, and the Galactic Political Index. I used this as a quick reference method, so anyone who opens these files knows how to gauge how important, how powerful a faction is from the lore perspective, of course. And this allows them to quickly add them to gameplay modes. This allows them to. I sent the picture on the lore channel, Katir. Uh, uh, this is there on the to serve them as a reference for when they are creating gameplay modes, when they are adding stuff to the various game modes that we are creating. And this way, I feel it will help them a lot. Like, because right now, we are starting to get, uh, we are starting to have more and more convergence on product design and lore. Are you not, you can't hear what I'm saying, Tamar? Is everyone hearing me? Everyone else is hearing me? Man, Discord is so weird nowadays. Yeah, yeah, you guys are hearing me. Awesome. So, okay. So, yeah, this is something that I'm currently working on right now. So, I'm organizing everything. What you guys see in terms of. Uh, hello? We heard you. Tamar. Can you hear us now? I don't. No worries. Uh, okay. So yeah, I'm organizing everything and I'm starting to put together all those notes. I am using my own timeline notes to the to those uh, to those files, and hopefully I'll get everything sorted out uh, in the coming weeks. So it's going to be super easy for us to tap on those files. And what I plan to do for you guys is to release those files in the lore week to some extent. So you guys will be able to check all the factions, all the all the different organizations in Star Atlas. You'll be able to see their relative power level compared to things like the Council of Peace, the major factions like the Usturs, etc. And the reason that I'm doing that is because I want Galia to feel alive, you know. And we have 51 star systems right now. You guys know them from Sage. And those organizations that I'm writing here are mostly the organizations that have managed to have an influence that's above the sector level. So all of those that you see here, they will in the future, if everything works out as I as we are envisioning, those are the factions that you guys will be able to get reputation with in game, that will have unique quest lines, unique recipes, unique items, manufacturers, things like that, you know. So it's super exciting to be sharing this list because it's going to have a real impact in the future. And one thing that I was talking yesterday on the brew, I'm not sure if you guys were there, is that I really want the lore to be meaningful and helping trigger in-game events in Star Atlas. So for example, this is a little bit of alpha, but since this is going to take a few years for this event to be even triggerable, let's say it like that in game, I don't mind sharing this here now. One of the factions, one of the minor factions in Gallia, they exist inside a very particular sector and inside a planet. The civilization of this faction, they have collapsed during a singularity when they were playing with uh, gravity technology. And what happened was that this basically destroyed the planet's surface. The civilizations escaped to the underground levels of that planet, and as time passed by, they forgot or they lost the knowledge, the technology that they had as a civilization, and they started to degrade, like going back to their origins and becoming a very uh, archaic civilization, even older than space age civilization, but they still have artifacts and technology in the ruins of those underground levels that lives on that planet. And the way that I am proposing this to game design is that once players find this planet and they mine a certain amount of resources on Sage on that planet, this will trigger a quest that allows players to find this civilization, you know. And this will open up the doors to new resources, new technologies, new monsters, lots of cool stuff. This is the kind of immersion, and this is the kind of in-game way that I want Star Atlas to evolve. Like I want the lore to be something that will push you guys to explore the galaxy, to learn the secrets from this galaxy, and to use those secrets to your benefit, to your guild's benefit, and overall to have a cool experience. You know, like uh, the first peop. One thing that I'm also proposing, and this is something that I'm also working on right now. I'm working on on how uh, the plants will work in Galia Expanse. So one of the things that I'm proposing that is that the first players who are going to discover a new property in a plant, they get to name those properties while they explore in Galia. So yeah, lots of exciting things that we are currently working on. We are finally reaching the level both in Unreal Engine 5 and the Unreal world. VB is saying that all flowers will be named VB. Imagine that, like you have VB1, VB2, VB3. That would be fun. So yeah, I'm currently building that system. Let me see if I have something that I can share with you guys on that front. Something that won't be too much. Yeah, I'm going to share just this. Hold on a second. Here, I shared on. The idea is to create a system that will allow us to generate plants with exotic properties in game. It's going to be super cool. This is something that Danny was super excited about. He enjoyed the concept, and this will be built in our world. So this year of 2025, it's going to be a year where you guys will start seeing a lot of integration between the Staratas lore and the gameplay features. I'll give you guys an example. Uh, yeah, Mustache. The if my proposal comes true, this will be the case as well. Like you'll be able to name new dishes, new combinations, and those will be based on the player who manages to make those combinations. They'll get to name those stuff. And for me, this is super exciting because, of course, most of the players in Stratos wants to make money, etc. But for me, these small things like the impacting the world, creating new stuff through the lore, those are the stuff that will make our players happy. Uh, what else can I share about this year? Another super interesting thing that I am working on is that I'm working on creatures. Like right now, I have lots of requests regarding different monsters and creatures in Star Atlas. And it's super fun to think about those kind of things, especially in a sci fi environment, because we have nearly absolutely freedom. Of course, Galia Expanse has its own rules. Uh, we have a few creatures, Tamar. Yes, I can send you that later. I can drop in the chat later a list of some of those creatures. Uh, but yeah, Katir. Like I have quests, for example, written down in the future that you need to collect resources or to or to reel a creature from the inside. So you have those enormous kaijus, as we say in Portuguese and Japanese, uh, where they have special resources and properties, and they are so big that crew members can live inside. Uh, the creature has their own immune system. Those creatures they will be attacked by parasites and things like that. Those parasites will have special resources and interesting things that can be collected by players. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely, Katir. Like some of those creatures might be a challenge for even commander ships and stuff like that. Uh, both, Neo. The idea is to have both. Uh, Neono level stuff, Mustache, is more rare. Neono is a very special singularity in Star Atlas. So if you find something that's Neono level stuff, you are in a lot of danger. Like the only place that you can find something like Neono is in the high risk zone. And yeah, if you find one of those outside of the medium risk zone, you are pretty much screwed. Like the odds of you surviving, uh, the odds of you surviving are going to be not on your side. I would say it like that. Yeah. So yeah, guys, I have been working on those creatures. As Neil asked if we have space creatures or planets with monsters. No, the idea is to have both. Like, I want you guys to be able to encounter uh, creatures in open space. So, for example, you are traveling on a planet. You know, you have just mined your resources. and then you are ambushed by space creatures. This can happen. But we also want you guys, when you go down on a planet and you start exploring that planet, to find alien creatures with very different anatomies and backgrounds and logics. Like, for example, we have a sector in Galia whose entire concept revolves around these creatures called thermics. And those thermics, they are semi-sentient creatures. And the odd things about them is that they actually have a society like primates do. Like they have like a special society, groups and etc. And they worship monoliths in those sectors that they live. They and there is a whole plot line where if you go there and you start engaging with them, you uncover the secrets of those monoliths, and you can actually acquire reputation with those creatures, like as if you were, let's say, uh, as if you were gaining reputation with a faction, but they are not a faction in the strict sense. They will be like trusting of you, or you can gain reputation with the poachers, which are trying to capture them and sell them for profit. You know, so we are designing those things as well. This is more in the long run. Once we have more taming and other gameplay modes stuff. But the cool thing about lore is that I get to work on the vision a lot earlier than anyone else in the company. So I get to get started on everything, and I can get people uh everything, like you guys. If when we want to start adding this stuff, I have all the content ready. I see Sawin asking, we will have a system of cure and prevention items. Sawin, I'm writing the everything for us to have this. Uh, if you check the document that I shared, you see that I one of the factions that I wrote there is the, let me find it, the Gallia Magical Union. The Gallia Magical Union is like a group of course, magics in Gallia Expanse, people dedicated to the preservation of health and dealing with galactic level threats in terms of disease, virus, and etc. If you guys read the Mud lore, the humanities lore in Star Atlas, you see that one of their safe zone systems, Valiant, was almost wiped out in the very early days of Mud colonization to the translucid pox, which is one of the diseases in Star Atlas. I really, really want us to have the this aspect of the game, like the magical career as a viable career, which will allow you, of course, to real crew members to improve their staffs, to help with augmentations. By the way, side note here, talking about augmentations, you guys will freak out when I share the file of this organization here. Hold on, let me find it. Where are you? Here. Uh, Here, Graft Research. So, this organization here. Graft Research. Graft Research is a underworld organization in the medium and high risk zone that works with DNA tampering, illegal biotic enhancements, and mutation technologies. They are like decentralized they are like a decentralized organization. Yes, Bohemian, because those guys they have literally zero ethics. Like you come to them and say, "Hey, I wanna add this high risk zone creature DNA to myself," and they'll be like, "Oh, this is so cool, man. Let's do this." They are hunted by the Council of Peace, and they live in the shadows of Galia Expanse doing research. Like they are researchers, they are super they are super undercover. They are like one of the most preeminent research groups in the underworld of Galia, and they will literally pay you to get them high risk zone materials, DNA samples, and things like that that they can use in their experiments. So yeah, this side note here is important because this is an organization that I feel some of you guys will probably join. Uh, and yeah, it's going to be interesting. I see Sekor asking, will we have a plant filled with monsters and creatures to eliminate like in the game Helldivers, which will allow you to win ultra rare objects that can be sold in the marketplace? Sekor, absolutely, my friend. Like, not just one planet, but many planets. Like, uh, my idea is to have like many exotic species that sometimes only appear under certain conditions uh, in the game. So you need to figure out how to find those creatures, how to trigger those conditions for the creature to appear. And this will be tied with of course, the bounty hunter career and the overall hunter career, some sort of monster hunter career that's linked to this faction here, the Nimrod trackers, which I also shared as one of our important minor factions that I'm currently working on. I see Level X asking about time frames. How we do this, Level X, is that in Star Atlas, everything starts with a MVP, like a proof of concept. And as time passes by, we start to build on that. If you are old enough to be here uh, from the first days of Sage, you will remember escape velocity, uh, where we our only gameplay was literally moving around through a chessboard and clicking scan to find items. I particularly found that super funny and interesting. I miss escape velocity. But as time passed by, we built new programs and now we have mining. Yeah, Jito, it was fun, I mean, of course, we are way ahead. But the day we had the playtest and that we broke Solana with Evi escape velocity, it was super cool. It was super funny. But yeah, the pain or risk was unmatched. Yeah, that's true as well. We were clicking like madmen. But yeah, the idea here is that we'll have the beginning of this will start with C4. Like in C4, which is coming this year, we'll have combat, we'll have claim stakes and habs, uh, which also will introduce, probably, don't quote me on this, but there's a good chance that this will also introduce pets to the ecosystem. And we'll also have we have claim stakes, so mining operations on planets will start happening. Colonization of planets using infrastructure will start happening. You guys will be able to interact with the lore of the planets, so this will also become more important. And yeah, like the first steps of everything that I'm talking about here right now is C4. Uh, Another huge thing about C4 that I was going to say now, man, it's just I just forgot. I was about to say I read a comment and I forgot what I was going to say. Damn, what was it? Jesus, I completely forgot. Sorry, guys. But yeah, the idea is to make the universe more immersive. Uh, we'll probably yeah, we were talking about monsters, catches, right? So I'm not sure if PvE will start at the same time of PvP, but uh, I like this suggestion, mustache. But if it's not at the same time, right after, like after we have PvP, we start building PvE gameplay ideas. And one of those ideas I actually am writing right now. I'm writing about a very important place in Star Atlas, a temple that's hidden in Ustur territory. This temple will come to you guys this year, at some point, I guess. Not sure. Let's see. But the idea of this temple is that there are three of those minor factions that I listed there in this group, in this list, in the lore channel, that they are fighting to get hold of that temple for different reasons. Like each one of those factions, they are searching the temple for a different reason. This temple is very important in the lore because it allows you to trigger some very important stuff linked with the Ustur's past. And depending on the faction that wins this conflict, the lore changes. The outcome of the lore changes. So this is something that I am trying to figure out with Danny and the others to see how we can implement this, like how we can move the lore forward based on players' behavior and how the how this can affect the future of Star Atlas overall. So yeah, I'm working on those. I'm working on lots of cool stuff in terms of lore integrations with both with Unreal Engine 5 and minor factions on Sage. I see you guys asked a couple questions about, is it possible to abandon your primary faction and join the minor factions if you have enough reputation with them? Neo, maybe in the long run. Uh, Maybe in the long run it will be possible, but in the beginning we want to make it harder because this would spread, I think, the community too far away. So you'll probably keep a main faction and a minor faction, uh, or more than one minor faction. But yeah, this is something that we are looking for. Falcor is saying AI-driven lore, perhaps. This is surely something that's on my mind right now, Falcor. And that's actually one of the big reasons that I am writing those profiles of each one of the Star Atlas minor factions. Like what I'm doing right now is creating their personas. I'm creating like their the heads of those factions, how they work, what's their power, their relative strength, their characteristics, where they live, and etc. And man, imagine that one day we have the technology to give each one of those factions a different AI agent, uh, a different AI agent that will work under those personalities. We can give them a wallet. We can give them like their initial fleets corresponding to their level of strength, wealth, and influence. And then they will start interacting with each other and interacting with player to pursue their goals. You know, man, the day that we arrive this level of immersion together with VR technology and overall other things that we are working on, it's going to be insane. It's going to be insane. And you guys can be sure that Star Atlas, differently from other game companies, we envision this as something that's happening already. We are planning for this, we are working on this, and we plan to, in the future, of course, have technology at our side and make this the best experience possible for you guys. Like, uh, as you guys know, we are in the bleeding edge of blockchain technology, but we are also working. Uh, I don't think it's a secret to share that we have hired people on AI development. If it's a secret and you guys didn't know this, don't share this anywhere else because this must stay here. But yeah, this is something that we are, of course, focused on. Uh, and and yeah, Star Atlas is for sure looking for that. Bohemian, in the future, I think that you guys, my idea, Bohemian, is for you guys to be the protagonists of Star Atlas lore. Like, I don't want you to write, I want you to execute the lore, you know? My role and everyone's else role is to create the sandbox and allows you guys to work on developing the world. Like, I want to sit back and see what you guys are going to do with the universe that we present to you guys. So what I see my mission is to set up the conditions to you guys get started. Yeah, we already have antagonists, right? And to be completely fair with you guys, if you guys pay attention to the Star Atlas ecosystem right now, we have lore being written as we talk here right now, right? We have people who pursue the career of a of a DAO council chairman. We have guilds who moves millions of Atlas every day in assets. And imagine when we have colonization of planets with C4. Like those guys moving all together to colonize a planet in a given sector in Galia Expanse. Like you guys will basically be uh, 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 owning those planets, interacting with the lore, their constraint. I paused a little bit because I received a very important. Yeah, I didn't bring my water. I just have a little water. Ah, sorry, guys. No, I received a DM from Danny and I stopped it for a second, but I'll check this later. Hopefully, he's not listening here and telling me I'm fired because I'm sharing too much alpha. But yeah, the idea is for you guys to own more and more of the universe, and in the future, you guys will be those minor factions. In the future, you guys will rule the regional DAOs that rules entire sectors of Galia. You guys will rule the faction DAOs who rules the Usturs, the Onis, the Muds. So you don't need to write the lore. You can go there, get your crew member, and get shit done, you know? Basically that. And let's say, if you guys read the economic paper of Star Atlas, you guys will see that we have things called, for example, mega projects. What are those mega projects? It's basically setting your faction to do something massive to change the landscape of Star Atlas. So one thing that I totally envision is that if you guys go to the faction DAO and propose to create something that doesn't exist in the game, let's say we want to create a Dyson sphere on MRZ25. You guys propose that. The Star Atlas team will look at that and say, you guys want to do this? You guys voted for this? Okay, let's see how we can implement this in the game. So we'll give you guys want to have a Dyson Sphere there? Okay, so this will cost X amount of fuel, X amount of titanium, X amount of Arco minerals, X amount of rare minerals, and things that you can only find in the high risk zone. And if you guys manage to pull that off, you guys will change the landscape of the game. You know, this is something that I would love to see happening. This is something that I foresee that will allow players to have a real ownership of the universe. You guys can proud yourselves. You guys will be able to tell other people that, yeah, I created this metropolis in this planet with my guild. You know, we got together, we built the infrastructure, we moved the DAO to get this kind of thing done. And yeah, or maybe you guys will be the villains, right? You guys will go to the planets where the thermics live, and you guys will exterminate an entire species out of the game and get an achievement saying that you exterminated an entire species out of Galia. You know, I am sharing. Of course, I don't want you guys to go there erasing entire populations, but this is something that you guys can do. Like, this is something that's in the realm of possibilities. This is something that I dream about when I dream about the lore of Star Atlas. And I'll tell you guys that one thing that I entirely believe is that whatever this community wants to see in the game will happen. Like, if you guys want to see something happen in Star Atlas, it will end up happening. We have the DAO for that. We have all the mechanisms to allow players to direct Star Atlas. We don't have VCs. We don't have VCs that we need to report to in the creation of the game. So yeah, we will allow these things to happen. And what we are doing is setting the sandbox to allow this to happen. And you guys will have the first taste of this when we have C4 Live in the later this year. Because right now, if you guys are playing Sage, if you guys are playing Unreal Engine 5, everything is super easy. Like everything you guys, you go there, you mine, you get the results of your mining, you go back home. No one harasses you, no space pirates, no dangers, no skill-based progression or results. Everything's super easy. That's not going to be the case anymore. We'll need to have supply chains, we'll have console ranks, we'll have progression-based systems, we'll have warehouse to keep the stocks of goods. The whole universe is going to change. And you guys won't be able to simply travel around safely anymore. Fighter ships are going to be used against you or by you to attack other players or engage with them or get advantages and etc. We'll have PvP, eventually we'll have PvE. So yeah, the whole world's going to change and you guys will feel your protagonism when you are able to change reality. Like, you guys will be able to siege entire star systems, destroy star bases, and wrecks whales out of their production pipelines. You guys will be able to rent entire fleets and move them as mercenaries to attack other players. You know? So we are getting there. We are really getting there. I can already see this on the horizon. I mean, it doesn't take too much to see this happening. Like, Star Atlas exists only for a few years now. And like, imagine how far we came from EV to local marketplaces where we are now. Like, give us like 1-2 years and we'll be crazy ahead of where we are right now. And those kind of things that I'm talking about with you guys now, like these lists of minor factions, etc., it won't be like 100 minor factions. Like, maybe we'll have thousands of those, from the space level faction to entire empires in the high risk zone, that someone here will stumble one day when they are traveling across the right risk zone. They will attack their fleets, and that empire will be super mad and come after players in the medium risk zone back in Star Atlas, you know. Oh man, my throat is dry. I got too excited. So yeah, all of this is in the works right now. I shared with you guys a lot of the things that I'm currently working on. This year is going to be super action packed in terms of lore and game development. We are moving faster and faster. So yeah, I'm super excited. As you guys can tell, I'm really looking forward to seeing all those things implemented and giving you guys more and more. Yeah, Falcor, I am super excited about everything. And yeah, it's cool seeing a plan getting together. Uh, I see Neo fishing. I see Neo fishing for Alpha, and he said, "Zé, speaking of Unreal Engine 5, yesterday you mentioned that some items would be mined within Unreal Engine 5 to be used on Sage, and vice versa. About new recipes. Do you want to elaborate a little about this?" I actually can't elaborate a little about this, but this, what you just said, is something that I am pushing a lot internally together with Dominic to integrate skill-based gameplay on Unreal Engine 5 world with the lore, immersion, and crafting systems that we have on Sage. And the way that I work in this company is that I start repeating myself to everyone else, and I start talking about this until things become a reality, you know? So I keep pestering everyone until they give up and say, okay, let's do this. Jose won't shut up if we don't stop, if we don't start doing things like that. So yeah, this will be super interesting. Uh, Agent Sol is asking a question. Do you ever see the safe zone not being safe? Like how people in Evi burn a Jita and people in World of Warcraft raid Stormwind and such. People fighting against game mechanics. Agent Solace, I would say this is probably inevitable in the extreme long run. And what I mean by that, let's say 10 years from now, Star Atlas is a worldwide recognized game. We have thousands, if not millions, of players. And people decide that they want to change the meta, the faction meta. They want, let's say someone breaks the Treaty of Peace and Galia goes into a dark age of technology of the sorts. This can happen. So it all depends on the players. It literally only depends on you guys. Yeah, Katir actually saw something that's very interesting. You guys, uh, you guys will never see a Star Atlas member saying that there is a safe zone. There is the low risk zone, the medium risk zone, and the high risk zone. So yeah, I mean, I won't elaborate more on that. So yeah, man, yeah, I spoke a lot today. Do you guys have? Yeah, maybe they did. Funcracker. I don't know. Don't read too much on this. There's totally nothing for you to find that. Any questions you guys have? I feel like we should allow these last moments here to share a little bit about things that you guys want to hear about specifically and more. I see we have team members over here. Darwin, please don't share what I just spoke about, please, with anyone else. Chat Roberts, in the big picture, do you see cross-chain gaming, hopping to another game through a wormhole, or something. I think this is entirely possible, Chet Roberts, but I am very mindful of this kind of thing. So the way that I'll do this is like, as you said, a warm role or a simulation, something that players could access but wouldn't, tap into the canon lore of Star Atlas. That would be my preference here. So things don't get too convoluted or wild or crazy. Galia will be crazy enough on itself, and I don't want it to spiraling into pure chaos, unstable systems, you know? Jose, which of the creatures you are creating catches your
Sorry, bro.
attention
I
the
clicked
most?
on some shit I wasn't supposed
No worries. Neo asking me, which of the creatures you are creating catches your attention the most and why? And which one is the rarest? This is a hard question, Neil Armstrong. I'm not sure I can share this too much, but one of the creatures that I'm working on right now that I really like are the different types of tufa. As I said in previous brews, I I'm the tufa is a very broad category. When you say tufa, you are talking about, I don't know, hundreds of different types of tufa. And right now, I'm starting to segregate those types by the different broads that the tufa have. So they are radically different from each other. For example, if you guys remember the trailer that we shared in Breakpoint, where you see the Tufa Titan appearing, uh, bro, VB is mean, bro. when it, that Tufa that appeared in the trailer, it is a very specific type of Tufa broad, and many different creatures derive from that specific Tufa broad. So right now, I'm working on different categories of Tufa, and those are the most interesting for me. Uh, each one of them will have different properties, different abilities, let's say it like that, linked with their exposure to the cosmic currents and iris. So yeah, this is this is a cool creature that I'm working on. But you guys will start seeing many different creatures, creatures like Puri that VB just said. They will start appearing more in the lore and etc. Uh, Mustache is asking, when can I mesh my Tufa files together to make more Tufa ships? Uh, Mustache, it's actually possible, but it's not that easy. Like the Tufa manufacturer of ships is something that's very unique. Like it's the most unique crafting method uh, in Star Atlas overall, and I have something written on that already for people. And in the future, it's going to be possible to some extent as long as you have the correct resources and creatures and knowledge to pull something like that. Agent Sol is asking, is Huge Harper Harley really a bad guy and equals bad people? Also, do other factions have outcasts like Ecos and or Jovics? For the second question, yes. Uh, some of those, for example, if you see the lore document that I shared here, there is the unfoiled technate. The unfoiled technate is a dissidence from the Usturs who reject religion, mysticism, and the elders' orders. So, for example, they don't even use the same name system as the other Usturs. And what they do is that they embrace their mechanic side a lot more than the normal Ustur embrace in it. You know, the normal Ustur seeks enlightenment, and the unfoiled state, unfoiled technate Usturs, they embrace their artificial intelligence side, their development as machines, their upgrades, and it's an entirely different philosophy, and they antagonizes the main Ustur's body. So they are actually involved in one of the quests that I have planned in the future for Stratlas, maybe even this year. And when you ask if someone is a bad guy, this for me is always something very complicated to answer. Uh, I have been working on the lore of R's visit to planet Earth. This is actually a huge story. We could write a book on it. Team, Team McBurney and I work closely together in this. We are still getting things done. We are writing a lot on that front. And when you guys gain access to this story, uh, you guys will be able to tell me or judge for yourselves if those guys are bad or not, you know, because lots of very important themes come to play when you ask someone's bad. Like, if someone makes a sacrifice of 1,000 people to save 1,000,000, are they bad? You know, this is an example, right, of a controversial uh, question here. So you guys will tell me when you hear, uh, when you guys see those stories, you guys will tell for yourself, and you guys will be able to join the groups that you guys feel comfortable with. And just to add to your point as well, Agent Solace, when we are talking about something like the ecos, uh, the ecos are decentralized, and the ecos works in medium-sized communities that they call groves. Each one of the groves has their own philosophy. So, for example, we have one of those groves. I think it's listed that there on that list that I shared with you guys. It's the Balifa Grove. Balifa Grove is the most radical ecos grove that exists in Galia Expanse. Basically, if they see you having a big mining operation anywhere, like a tier 3 claim stake level, they will come and knock the shit out of you. No questions asked. Like, they will come and hunt you down. And for you to have, if you become friends with the Balifa Grove, you will probably have problems with many other factions because they are always fighting other people and etc. We have other Ecos Grove who never resorts to violence at all. They are pacifists, they are farmers, they are gentle people who try to teach people about preservation of nature and etc. etc. They work with food farms and things like that. So even inside ecos, there is this divergence, and players will be able to align themselves with the minor groups inside the ecos faction as well. Uh, so yeah, there is this. Uh, so yeah, Falcor really touched a very interesting point. How can we best prepare for Shabok's invasion of Aoki? Banished faction alliance with some parts of Wikos will be important. Falcor, when Shabok comes to Aoki, it's not going to be like It's going to be a cataclysmic convergence war level event. Like the entire map of Galia Expanse will change to accommodate the Tufa hordes. It's going to be insanely cool and different. I think this is a very interesting point for us to close this lore keepers meeting today. So yeah, it's going to require the Council of Peace level of intervention to deal with the situation. It's actually one of the biggest tests of the Council of all times. Uh, yeah, guys, I think I spoke a lot today. I shared many different stuff, many different stories. I hope you guys got excited about all the things that I'm currently working on. I surely am, as you guys can see. And yeah, what I'm doing uh, is heads down building, all that stuff. Neil Armstrong said about the tufa. Last question, and then I'm closing. If there are several categories of tufas, it seems to me, I could be wrong, that they are very populated. Shouldn't this allow them to be low tiers than anomaly? Uh, Imagine this, Neo. Let's say that there was a new resource in the depths of the depths of the depths of the oceans in planet Earth. There's a lot of this mineral, but you are not able to access it with the current technology. Does it make the fact that we have so much stuff of that stuff makes it more less rare if the conditions to access it are that hard? So rarity is not just the amount of a resource or the number of a certain population, but the conditions to access that resource or that population. For example, none of you guys will be able to reach Iris and the Cataclysm for a long, long time because it's going to require to discover uh, lots of secrets, develop technologies, amass resources for you guys to build the infrastructure required to reach Iris. You know, like you guys will need to face so much shit before you are able to access the Cataclysm. That's not even funny. So yeah, that's more or less the logic that I'm using. Thank you guys for being here with me today. It's a pleasure uh, to be here talking about lore with you guys. 2025 is going to be a very interesting year for the Stratos lore and game development overall, and we'll have lots of fun. I guarantee you guys.
Let's go.
So let's freaking go. Have a blessed day, guys. Tomorrow we have Golden Carnival again. So we'll see each other there if you guys join. And we'll talk later. Bye, everyone. See ya.
Thank you, Jose. Love you, Galia.